because I just searched for it, I can get here extremely early. Only 6 people have applied. So I have a high chance of getting my CV seen here, right? And there's no auto apply. What is this form? What is this form? Hello, hello. Today I'll be applying to 20 jobs using my open source job hunting pipeline. It's called JobOps, and let's see how quickly we can do 20 applications. So the first thing that happens is that we can get a lot of jobs into the discovered section. We can scrape multiple sources such as LinkedIn and Indeed and Adzuna's API and stuff like this. And I'll show you once this one completes. So I already have a run running, which is going to all of the job sources and fetching jobs for me, right? And then the AI uses my resume and the job description itself to mark jobs as relevant to me or not. It just scores them out of 100, and it takes into account different things such as uh, the location of the job, my relevance to the job description itself, my interests, and you can add all of those in JobOps' settings. So we can see here that, for example, this 11 Labs job, right? It found it from the Working Nomads website, and it's a remote job. And we can see that the sponsorship is also marked here for the UK. So UK sponsorship is marked here, 11 Labs and 11 Labs Ltd. It's a potential sponsor because it's not an exact match, but it partially matches, and that's what we are interested in. So we can, for example, select this with X, we use keyboard shortcuts, and we'll just go through these and see which ones we want to apply for. Let's say this one looks good. There we go. Let's see this one. Pragma seems good. So for all of these, let's say we want to move them to ready. We want to generate a PDF for them. So it's going to be a tailored resume for each of these. We can move them to the ready column. So the ready column guarantees that everything must have a resume associated with it. If I just look at my fucking server, see if it's working. There we go. So we see all of them in the ready column here, and all of these have customized PDFs generated specifically for this, and it is in the different format, right? And this is what JobOps enables you to do, is to make sure that every resume is tailored for this, for every specific job description. So for example, Noire is a company that is in fintech, and that is why the PDF itself mentions fintech specifically, just so we can target their ATS systems exactly. So press O to open the job description itself. Oh, the joys of applying for jobs. Okay, so I don't care. Let's see. Apply now. So we can update this. So we can download it with the D. So D downloads it. You can go here and then just upload here. Boop. So the file itself is saved with a nice name, and you know that this is customized for every job. There we go. So it's processing the CV, whatever that means. Uploaded, submit application, application sent. Go here and we can mark things as applied with the A key. And we'll see here in the overview that the application shows up here. Boom, there we go. We got one application done. These are my stats over time. We can now just breeze through these. Let's see then. A company called Client Server. Okay. So we can apply here. Let's see where this redirects us. We can change this. Maybe have to change this in fact. My default CV, no edit application. There we go. That's my, there we go, edit, delete, because we want to upload the custom client server's resume here. So we do this, go in here, choose the one, boop, upload. Do I have export document? Nope, just send the application. And we are done. That is application number 2. Boop, open the next one. We'll just regenerate the PDF. Boop. So while that happens in the background. So now comes the next part. So the simplify jobs job extension is one of the best. We can autofill the page, and it will autofill most of the things for me. And this takes away a bunch of the grunt work that I would otherwise have to do to manually fill things in. Am I based in Europe? Yes. My resume itself, we can come in here, download the 11 Labs PDF, and upload. There we go. So it fills in all my things here. I've heard about the 11 labs on social media, let's say. There we go. What makes me excited about the 11 labs mission? Now, this question, otherwise I would have to copy the job description, go to ChatGPT, write something out. But with JobOps, it is baked in right here. So we do this, we apply, and this is now using an AI model that is supplied by the API to write my answer for me, right? It has all the context about my resume, my past experience, my specific instructions for what I want it to sound like, right? I want it to sound like me, and also the context of the job description itself, right? So you can see here that I think the response is too long. Response is too long, right? And we can just ask it like a ChatGPT window, but with preloaded context, right? Once it's done, there we go. There we go. So let's just copy this chunk here because that is what I like best, right? There we go. And then they ask me a hard problem that's solving the task. So I can just restart. Boop. Command send. Navigate. There we go. There we go. So it writes about JobOps, one of my past projects, which is great. We can just copy paste this in here. We can see what it feels like. So for example, the writing itself, we can critique that. There we go. That's sounds like me. We submit the application. I've already applied in this domain, so I cannot apply again. Amazing. So all of that time was spent doing nothing. Isn't that fun? Okay. Fuck me. Okay, next one. Applied. Very good. There we go. Let's see if this is a job I want to apply to. So far that I've found that the Adzuna ones aren't the best idea. So you can see this. We posted 3 days ago, over 100 applicants. There is really no point in applying here, right? So we can just skip this job. Let's open this one up, see what this one's about. So where's it from? Indeed. Okay. The problem I'm seeing with all of these is that they are from Adzuna, and I do not like Adzuna for a variety of reasons, including but not limited to the fact that in the past my response rate with them has been horrific. As I will now show you. In fact, I can actually show you this, can't I? Because if we see here per source, Adzuna, I've applied 13 jobs using Adzuna and I have a 0% response rate compared to, for example, Glassdoor, where I've applied 13 jobs and I have 1 response. So it's not exactly incredible, by any stretch of the imagination, but it is still a lot better than the alternatives, right? We've done 5 applications so far. Oop, discovered Mistral AI. Let's look at this one. Fluviant. Let's just autofill, and while it happens, in the background, does an ideal work? Yes. Yes. Can I analyze the performance? Yes. Using view? No. But yeah, yes. Mail even. Within last resume. What has to go? Choose out. So it's going to go. Submit again. Application has been received. There we go. Close the tab. Applied. Let's open this one. So now PDF note or F. Take choose file. Or F. This is like clockwork, and it is just going through the motions, as they say. So processing. Thank you. Submit application. Application is sent. Applied. Let's see, this is from UK Visa Jobs. Very nice. AI Developer Advocate. Okay. Yep, so this one doesn't work for us because they need 6+ years in developer relations and developer experience, and they need a master's degree, which I don't have, so there's no point applying here. So let's look at the next one. For most of these, it looks like there's no point in me applying because the score now is a bit too low because I suppose we can apply to this one because my tech stack is a perfect match, right? So for example, this job wants me to have Java, just have no Java experience. There's no point applying there. Let's see. I think we might need to run the pipeline again with GradCracker instead because Ratcracker almost always surfaces new jobs. Mhm. There we go. So everything except for Adzuna, because I hate Adzuna actually. So it's going through Ratcracker. This is the slowest scraper that we have. But it does work. Until then, we can apply to these jobs. So if we look at and there's no autopilot. What is this form? What is this form? Plus 4, 4. At least it's sorted like numerically, but like, who makes those forms? Jesus. So we mark applied. Okay, there we go. That is applied. Boop. Okay, now we wait for the next ones to come in. Okay, so we have some fresh jobs. Yep, apply. That is the 10th application. Very nice. So this application was submitted. There we go. Boop, boop, and applied. Okay, so that was 8 applications done in about 40 minutes, which is a bit shy of my 20 application proposal, but it's still 5 minutes per application, all with a fully customized and tailored resume for each company, and with some easy applies, some actually like difficult ones where you have to write stuff, and a good mix of the above. A bunch of time of this was actually spent waiting for the Gradcracker scraper to run, and if you had that prepared beforehand, it would likely be much faster. If you want to try out the product, I have launched the cloud version of JobOps where I do the hosting for you and you just need to bring your own API key. Whereas if you want to self-host on your own machine, it is free to do so, and it will always be free to do so with just a Docker Compose file. Bye.